Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling the ultimate beauty and the beast of the houseplant world, the Crown of Thorns. If you've been searching for a complete care and growth guide for a plant that brings both stunning color and a bit of wild, rugged character right into your home, well, you're in exactly the right place. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty bold claim from houseplant expert Anastasia Remezlo. She points out that while everyone else is out there obsessing over fussy orchids or African violets, this thorny little euphorbia will just sit on your windowsill and quietly bloom its heart out month after month with almost zero fuss. And honestly, this is exactly what makes the Crown of Thorns so incredibly special. Think about your traditional flowering plants for a second. You're usually babying them for this tiny, fleeting window of temporary blooms, maybe just a few weeks of payoff, right? But the Crown of Thorns, it's kind of a rebellious succulent. It actively thrives on neglect, and when you treat it right, it rewards you with vibrant blooms practically year-round. It's about as close to a set-it-and-forget-it flowering plant as you're ever gonna find.
So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll meet the non-stop bloomer, cover core care like light and water, talk ideal environment and feeding, tackle pruning, propagation, and safety, and finally, do some troubleshooting.
Section 1. Meet the non-stop bloomer. Let's start with the beauty aspect of this plant. Now here's a totally wild secret. Those bright red, pink, or yellow petals you're looking at, they aren't actually flowers at all. Nope, they are long-lasting modified leaves called bracts. The true flowers are actually those tiny, inconspicuous little buds tucked right in the center. If that sounds a bit familiar, it's the exact same mechanism you see in poinsettias, which makes total sense considering they're both in the Euphorbia family. Each set of these colorful bracts last for weeks, sometimes even months, giving you an almost unparalleled sustained floral display. Section 2. Core care, light and water. Let's establish the absolute baseline rules for keeping this Madagascar native happy. 4 to 6. That is your golden number. Your plant needs 4 to 6 hours of direct sun every single day to fuel those non-stop blooms. Remember, out in its native Madagascar, it grows in full, blazing sun on rocky terrain. A lot of folks make the fatal mistake of treating it like a low-light tropical plant, but it is a total sun worshiper. A south-facing window is usually your absolute best bet indoors.
Now, because this plant stores water in those thick, spiny stems of its, you absolutely must follow the soak and dry method to avoid its biggest enemy, soggy roots. You want to water it slowly until it drains freely out the bottom. Then, and this is literally a lifesaver, empty that saucer after 15 to 20 minutes so it isn't just sitting in a puddle. Finally, use the good old finger test. Push your finger about an inch into the topsoil. If it's dry, give it a drink. If it's damp, hold off. Generally, this breaks down to every 7 to 10 days in the summer and maybe stretching to every 2 to 4 weeks in the winter.
Section 3. Ideal environment and feeding. Let's build the perfect gritty home and nutrient diet for maximum flowers. To recreate those fast-draining rocky hillsides of Madagascar right in your living room, standard cactus mix by itself just isn't going to cut it. It needs real grit. You'll want to heavily cut your mix with perlite and coarse sand. Or if you know you have a heavy watering hand, or maybe you live in a really humid climate, definitely swap in some orchid bark or charcoal. That extra chunky material keeps things incredibly airy, ensuring the water runs right through and leaves the roots perfectly damp, but never drowning.
And if you want to unlock the true potential of this bloom machine, here is your secret weapon, phosphorus. Because the Crown of Thorns flowers constantly, it burns through a massive amount of energy. Feeding it a high phosphorus bloom booster fertilizer during the spring and summer will drastically push heavier flower production. Just remember to give the poor thing a break and stop feeding entirely during its winter dormancy.
When it comes to its ideal climate, this plant is uniquely suited for our homes. It loves standard household temperatures, thriving anywhere in that 65 to 90 degree Fahrenheit range. And get this, unlike those super fussy tropicals that demand humidifiers and pebble trays, this plant loves dry air. It is perfectly happy in standard 30 to 50% household humidity. In fact, it actively hates being misted. All that does is invite fungal rot right into those dense thorns.
Section 4. Pruning, propagation, and safety. Time to transition from the beauty to the gnarly, spike-covered beast.
All right, please pay close attention here. The Crown of Thorns belongs to the Euphorbia family, which means all parts of the plant contain a highly toxic, milky latex sap. This stuff is a serious skin and eye irritant. We are talking blistering skin and potential eye damage. Combine that with thorns sharp enough to draw blood, and proper safety gear, like thick leather gloves and eye protection, is completely non-negotiable whenever you prune or repot. don't risk it. So, knowing all of those risks, you kind of have to wonder, how on earth do you propagate a plant covered in razor-sharp thorns and oozing toxic sap? It sounds like a highly dangerous surgical procedure. But multiplying your crown of thorns is actually surprisingly easy, provided you know one insider secret.
That secret? Cold water. When you cut a stem tip, that toxic white latex is going to flow instantly. But if you immediately dip the cut end and the mother plant into cold water, it instantly constricts the vessels and stops the toxic latex from dripping everywhere. It's like magic. After that, patience is your best friend. Lay the cutting on a paper towel for 2 to 3 days to form a hard callus. If you stick a fresh cut straight into the soil, it's pretty much guaranteed to rot. Once it's fully calloused over, pop it into dry soil and it'll root beautifully.
Section 5. Troubleshooting common problems. Because hey, even the toughest plants have bad days. You can actually easily self-diagnose whether your plant needs a good drink or emergency root rot surgery just by looking at its leaves and stems. Underwatering, that's an easy fix. The leaves will wilt, maybe curl up, and the stems might look a little shrunken, but a good soak bounces it right back. Overwatering, on the other hand, is the real killer. If you see leaves yellowing from the bottom upward, or worse, if the base of the stem feels soft and mushy, you've got root rot. You'll need to unpot it immediately, chop away the rotten roots, and repot it in completely dry, fresh soil.
But what if your plant looks perfectly healthy, yet it's stubbornly refusing to bloom? This is the most common complaint out there. Well, 90% of the time, the culprit is simply insufficient light. Move it closer to the sun. If your light is good, check your fertilizer. Too much nitrogen pushes leafy growth instead of flowers. And obviously, make sure it isn't sitting in a cold draft or boggy soil, because both of those will stop flower production in its tracks. So, there you have it. We've explored the beauty and the beast of this incredible Madagascan native. Sure, it demands your respect, a prime sunny windowsill, and a sturdy pair of leather gloves. But in return, its endless, year-round blooms make it a breathtaking addition to your indoor jungle. Knowing everything you know now, are you ready to bring home a houseplant that truly blooms forever?